My name is Emanuel Petrescu, founder of HowAboutSomeMarketing. Well, thank you so much for being here. And what is HowAboutSomeMarketing? Well, HowAboutSomeMarketing essentially is the go-to resource for marketing-savvy business owners and marketing professionals, offering a platform to enhance their marketing skills, gain actionable insights, and provide growth opportunities while providing a supporting community with resources that are time efficient and cost effective for the long-term business success. If you are not, please go to howaboutsommarketing.com and subscribe to the newsletter. I wouldn't be much of a marketer myself, right, if I didn't take each opportunity to encourage people to go and subscribe to our newsletter, to the site. Over there, you'll find previous past recordings, upcoming events that we're putting together, and many other useful information. Before we dive right in, I just want to take a moment to give a shout out to our partners that have been with us, some more recently, others from the beginning. So Organic Growth, our friend Kevin Carney, Aspirational Marketing, a marketing agency from Toronto, led by Joachim Koch, Toronto Marketing Hub, our friends Daniel and Pablo, and where I actually met and saw today's guest. We'll get to learn more about that a little bit later on. Level Up Media, or your friend Igor Petrov, where we recorded the past episode in his studio as well. Global Center for FinTech Innovation Canada, and last but not least, Toronto B2B Marketing Community, which also have their own event this time next week. So if you're in Toronto and you want to connect with other marketers and watch a great presentation and have a pleasant evening, search for Toronto B2B Marketing Community and their event. You can also feel free to email us for more details as well. Now, before we dive right in and introduce the guest, I do want to remind everyone that we do have a chat option over there in the platform that you're watching, either LinkedIn, either YouTube, or on StreamYard. So feel free to engage, to interact, to post questions, and we will address them, some at the end, some during the presentation, depends on the question and how timely sensitive they are. That being said, it's my pleasure and privilege to introduce you to tonight's guest, Emily Gama. Emily is a Toronto-based social media and content strategist with 7+ years of experience turning insights into stories. She works for Nestle, where she drives the social media content strategy of powerhouse brands like Nescafe, Häagen-Dazs, and Aero. I think I pronounced that correctly. Blending sharp consumer insights with creativity to build content strategies that cut through the noise. Emily is passionate about personalization and believes the best campaigns don't just reach audiences, but they move them. It's my privilege and pleasure to turn everything to our guest, Emily Gama. And Emily, is there anything in your bio that I've missed that you would like to share?
I think that's really perfect. I'm gonna ask if I can add that to my LinkedIn because I really like your bio for me.
Excellent.
Thank
I have
you.
help with my assistant,
Oh, I can see.
also Martin. But yeah, thank you so much. The virtual stage is yours
Thank you
now.
so much. I'm super excited to be here. I'm gonna share my screen. Let's have some fun, and I hope you learn something new today. If not, that you can kind of just refresh what you already know. So today we're gonna discuss about finding how to find deeper connections with your audience, creator, and through creator marketing. And when I mean creator marketing, I actually mean influencer marketing. That those names are interchangeable for some people, but it's how we can kind of connect and build trust with the audience using real people, other human beings. So Emanuel already introduced me, so I think maybe we can skip that. But I would like to just mention a few brands that I've been working with at Nestle. I've been with Nestle almost 3 years already. So I had the pleasure to work with brands like Nescafe, Häagen-Dazs, and Aero. And my big passion is turning consumer insights and doing that research and turning that into content strategy. So I'm really passionate about personalization. So I feel like that's Really, that brings a little bit of sparkle for me. Right. So what you see here today is we're gonna discuss and understand the noise on social media. As you know, we're all on social media platforms. It's a very crowded place. It's a little bit overwhelming as well. Not a little bit, actually, too much overwhelming. And we're gonna discuss why authenticity drives connection and how to do that, and also how to turn those consumer insights into content that really resonates. So I'll also share some real examples from works that I've done and campaigns that I've worked on, other brands that inspire me because I'm also a consumer. We all work with marketing, but we can't forget that we're also consumers, and some practical tips. So let's get started. So, in a crowded digital world, standing out, it's a matter of survival, actually. So, if you think about your habits, how you behave on social media, what catch your attention, you can ask yourself and how you work with your brands if you're really connecting with your consumers or your people are just scrolling past your content. What is your goal when you have a content calendar and a content strategy? Are you just filling the gaps and posting some content for the sake of it, or are you really connecting with your audience and learning their behavior from that content and tailoring that content for them? So I have a question before we move forward. I want all of you to put in the chat, if possible, what makes you stop scrolling. Think about a video or image that you saw maybe earlier today or yesterday or this week, whatever, that made you share. That made you share with somebody. That made you stop scrolling and then you share with somebody. So I'll give you a few seconds, but think about, was it a powerful opening line or a hook at the beginning, maybe a raw or very informative or maybe an emotional moment, something visually weird or surprising, a relatable quote or meme, a creator you already trust. So I'll let you like put in the chat, drop there, and then
We have
we'll
it on screen. Brian said high impact visuals or headline.
Okay. So do you remember, if you want to put an example, for example, if you remember if it was from a brand or if it was from a creator, or you don't know, it was just like a meme, but just try to remember what was the topic of the video.
In the meantime, Kevin has put in two things: topic relevance to me,
Here, emotional.
interesting perspective. Another comment here:
Okay.
when someone breaks the fourth wall and speaks directly to us.
Okay. So I'll save those answers and we'll go back to that a few slides later. So I want to talk about a few things and then we're gonna see if that makes sense with what I'm gonna present here. Okay.
There was a few emotional moments and
Yeah, a lot
visually
of emotional moments, right? So let's understand a little bit the noise on social. There is an attention crisis for sure, like attention, but attention isn't shrinking. Like we always mention that, oh, well, yeah, we have like a short span of attention, but it's very selective actually. So if we think about the average person is exposed to 6K up to 10K ads per day. Of course, these depend on the location this person lives. But imagine if you live in Toronto or New York, that's probably it. And this is gonna include like ads from TV, radio, print media, not only social media, but outdoor advertising. This is the amount of ads we see on average per day. And we don't notice. Like it's almost unconscious at this point, right? But 80% of consumers say they ignore traditional ads, according to HubSpot. If there's someone here that works at HubSpot, just say hi. So 80% of consumers say being treated like a person, not a number, is critical to winning their business. And when it comes to that, we have in Canada, I'm talking about Canadian statistics because that's where my research is. We have more than 31 million people on social media. And on average, the Canadian adult, they spend more than 9 hours per day on social apps. That's a lot. That's a lot scrolling, a lot of content and selecting what you see and what you skip, right? So if we think about that, social media is really the place where you connect with your audience. Your audience is there like more than 9 hours per day, and if you don't take this seriously, if you take social media for granted, and actually you don't create for social but you adapt other content that you have for all the media platforms, and you just throw it on social expecting that this will work, you it's time to restart thinking this strategy. Okay, so social media is an integral part in building the brand reputation. We've seen so many times brands making and breaking because of a crisis in social media, something that happened or somebody posted, and or even the brand posting something controversial. It gives you the ability to voice your brand message and create a deeper connection and give your audience their own voice to coexist with yours. So with that being said, authenticity is the new currency. And when we talk about consumers, they are tuning out corporate messaging. The brands on social before, if you remember the time where brands were not on social, I may be kind of revealing my age here, but there was a time that brands were not on social and it was so different. And when brands started to come to social media, the users started to get worried that it would be too much. It would lose its purpose, right? But the brands that do well on social, they actually behave like a creator. They actually behave like they're a human, not like a corporate messaging kind of tone. So they're turning into real human voices. We're no longer in an age where a very polished, glossy brand ad will build the loyalty. So today, people trust people, and creators and brands share a product they truly use or a story they genuinely relate to. It doesn't feel like marketing. It feels like a recommendation from a friend, and that's what builds connection. So here's just one screenshot of one of the campaigns I've worked with last Christmas. Was for Maison Perrier's, one of the water brands, and we did a campaign with many creators to kind of launch these new flavors and bring awareness and make people kind of relate and aware. So leveraging that audience that person built and they know so well, we give them that license to create a content for us, of course, with all the approval process, but they know their audience so well and they trust that person. So that's a good way to kind of bring more awareness to your brand without only having the brand assets and polished ads. So with a quiz, let's check the quiz, the answers. So I know a lot of you mentioned emotion, something emotional, something that somebody mentioned when you break the fourth wall and talk to the camera.
Emotional moments and
Yes.
visually impactful.
Perfect. So it's almost never the perfect product shot when we think about it. It's always something human, emotional, or even an unexpected, the surprise element. So that's what we're here to unpack today. So let's go. Right. So I'll just gonna go over a little bit of the content strategy, how we can build that. So before going on social or just doing an audit of what you already have and kind of reviewing your strategy. What is your brand purpose, right? It's way more than a tagline, but what do you stand for? What does your brand stand for? What is the story that you want to tell with your brand? So you have to have that really clear. And what is the personality of the brand? What is the tone? Is that brand? I like to kind of the persona is so real. I like to treat my brand as the persona itself. So I see my specific brand as a specific person, and sometimes it can be a celebrity that helps me visualize how my brand acts and speaks. But that's a helpful tip if you're having trouble kind of trying to find that voice. I know some people say, oh, okay, my brand is like Zendaya because she's funny and bold or something like that. So you can kind of attribute your brand persona to a specific celebrity that makes you kind of visualize it better. So also very important to consider here, audience empathy, content built around real human needs and moments, consistency, frequency, and unified voice across owned, earned, and paid media. So you're gonna have how many posts you're gonna post per week, per day. So who knows? But unified voice is very important as well because you're gonna have multiple platforms, but you have to keep it consistent. It doesn't work if you use a certain tone in one and a different tone in another one. Of course, the content is going to be different from one to another. You have to tailor your content, but the voice and the consistency has to be there. And we cannot forget the last two pillars, the cultural relevance, a content that taps into current events, trends, movements. You have to be part of the culture. You don't want your brand to be just a product or a set of products or a portfolio, but you want your brand to be cultural, an experience. So that's how it's going to be remembered. And build your content ecosystem. So the Hero Hub Help model by Google's framework is really going to help you to structure your content ecosystem here. Okay, next one. So with that being said, why would we or you work with creators, influencers? So creators, they're going to act as cultural translators. People don't want to feel they're being sold to. They want to be seen. They want to be acknowledged, and they want to see themselves in that product or in that something. So I have some stats here from actually TikTok. So 58% of TikTok users say they're more likely to trust brands after learning about them from TikTok creators versus when they see an ad in their feed. Most likely they will just keep the ad, and if they see a creator they already trust, they'll give it a try and they'll trust. They'll trust. So also it's important to mention one thing that I love, and I'm an advocate for the lo-fi aesthetic, as you noticed already. So 33% of ads, they're lo-fi or unpolished, see 33% stronger consideration. So polish is when you see like a perfect shot or the perfect lighting, everything is very, very perfect, very studio produced, and lo-fi aesthetic is very native to social, right? It looks like an organic post. It's very native. You won't notice it's from a brand until you kind of maybe you watch until the end, but it's gonna kind of trick you there. So also entertain, draw viewers in. So we can't forget social is about entertainment. The TikTok audience watches entertaining ads for 1.3 times longer than ads that do not have any entertainment value. So yes, what I said, social is entertainment. People go there to scroll and have some laughs or learn something new, but it can never be too serious. It really depends on your niche, of course, but for most part of brands, it's kind of not taking yourself too seriously, not being so polished, so corporate, and adapting your language to that space. So whatever works for TV, not necessarily will work for social. So use your authentic storytelling and creation of a unique voice as a strategy to stand out. So here we have a few examples of a few influencer content with a partnership between KitKat and hockey season. So it was very fun to work with them. I'll show some videos, actually play some videos after, so you can see most recent examples. Oh, it's playing already. So this is one of the campaigns, the brands that I work with. Arrow shows up on social like a very funny, silly friend, and we lean a lot into meme culture, cultural moments. For example, the Oscar is happening. We try to see how we can, join the conversation if it makes sense to the brand. So we are that friend. We're the silly friend that makes your day a little bit lighter. So we try to do like everything with a smart timing, audience insight, and an understanding of what makes people stop scrolling. I'll play this ad here, and then you see the difference from the other content we've been producing. This is like very produced, created like for TV, and then we were used on social. Moral of the story, it didn't perform that well on social because you can see it's an ad for TV.
Hold!
With the bubbles happening.
We're waiting to see if she's going to chew or let us melt.
Oh no. Are we getting chewed?
Feel the Aero bubbles melt. It's mind-bubbling.
So everything here gives you like, it's giving TV energy, like the voiceover, the logo at the bottom. Can you hear the sound? I'm not sure if it's being shared.
Yes,
Okay.
the sound was shared, and amazing. I'm learning a lot. You get some feedback from our audience, so thank you so much for doing this.
So this is one of the some of the videos that went viral. Okay, totally unpolished, different aesthetics, but they're very native for social. You won't notice right away that they're from Arrow. They're like a campaign going on. It's a very silly one. It's just comparing Arrow to an airplane, and this comes from an insight because of the name, just a play on words with the name Arrow. People relate a lot to airplanes or Arrow, anything that has to do with aviation. So we kind of transform the chocolate bar into an airplane, and people kind of laughed and comment, and this went viral on TikTok, and people are going crazy on comments in the comment section with very chaotic comments and posts. The other one is an influencer.
His wife caught wind of his plans, but luckily for David, he had Arrow truffle on deck because once Jules tasted those melting Arrow bubbles, she was transported to a mind-bubbling state of pure bliss. And something about those creamy Arrow truffle bubbles melting causes Jules to completely forget all about David's video games. A win is a win. Now comment below if you're going to pick up some Arrow truffle to have your own mind-bubbling experience. David's commenting.
I love the call to action in the end that Davies comments. So it's kind of inviting everyone to engage with the video, and it's very different. So you see that this one performs so much better than the TV ad spot that we also posted earlier because it's very polished. This is more authentic. This feels like something that you really see yourself in that situation, something relatable, a shareable experience. So, like, just sharing two more.
And that, my friends, is house music. It doesn't judge you, and I won't either.
Okay, this is the last one. It's a very silly. Those are very silly, playful, like bubbly content that really resonates with the brand. And if we talk about social and Gen Z, that's what they consume. They want to just chaos and authentic content that makes them laugh and makes them share with their friends. So we're leaning heavily on that part. So 70% of Gen Z follow influencers who reflect their personal value. People want to see someone experience your product, sharing a point of view, or just vibing with a trend. Whether you're working with creators or posting from your own handle, personality, participation are your greatest assets. So here we can see a little bit of a difference between traditional brand posts and a creator style brand post. So traditional ones will be like super polished, corporate tone, static CTA, one-way messaging is like you communicating as a brand and they're just passively receiving the message. And the creator style brand post is shows behind the scenes, more DIY aesthetics, casual voice, captions, emojis, a come with me style narrative, do it, hyper personalization. And this doesn't mean that it's only possible for a creator to do that type of content. There are many brands that do creator style brand posts, as you can.
Guys, the sweetest chocolate package just got delivered to me, and I have to show you guys exactly what it is. It's the new Aero Scoops chocolate bars. They come in double chocolate, choco strawberry, and vanilla bean. Let's try the double chocolate flavor first. It's so bubbly and airy as always, and it just melts in your mouth. Next up was the choco strawberry though. This was like chocolate and strawberry ice cream melting in your mouth all at once. Let me know which one you want to try.
So if you see that, and then if you see a brand ad, which one do you think you would kind of make you likely try that bar? I personally think, and like the insights show us that having the creator presenting the product to the audience performs way better and make them want to try it than other than just having the brand asset posted.
Somebody put in the comments.
So I want to share here.
Somebody put in the comments. You see an ad like the TV one, and your brain already looks for a skip button.
Yes, totally. I do it too. I won't lie. Sometimes I stay a little bit longer because as like we work with that, so I want to see the other brands' ads. But as a consumer, I'm not on TikTok to see ads, or Instagram. I'm watching my reels. I want to have a good time, and we're all consumers. So when we're doing our own things, our own strategies, we have to put ourselves in the consumer shoes, but also remember we are the consumers as well. Like think about how you act towards like the brands that you really like, and how you wanted to feel, acknowledge, or seen in their content. So that would kind of help guide you through. It will not be the same strategy you use for your brand, but kind of makes kind of that shift in mindset. So I have two examples here that I love. These If you don't follow them, please do. They're amazing. Duolingo and Ryanair, they have Unhinged brand voice, consistent character, and a platform native humor. So the Duolingo, I think we all know, is a very funny account. Recently, they post about the death of Duo, their mascot. So what happened with the death of Duo, the Duolingo, is that Dua Lipa posted about it, and that was super funny because it went super viral, and then Dua Lipa received actually the Duolingo social media team sent Dua Lipa a package with all Duo's belongings. So she kind of pretending she's the widow. So this went viral. This is a way, of course, to kind of leverage a human interaction, a human moment with a celebrity or maybe a creator that makes your brand stand out more. And Ryanair is a aviation company from Europe, and they're very famous for being like a very cheap. They have very cheap flights, and on social they're totally savages. They have no limits. They're like totally unhinged, and it's very funny. So this one is they use actual consumer insights, that they know what are our consumers' problems, what are the consumers' wishes, what do they worry about, what are the situations and life experiences they're going through, and they use this in their videos so it's relatable. And if it's relatable, it's shareable. And when we talk about social, we're talking about sharing. It's way more important than kind of having the likes there. So we're talking about sharing and seeing ourselves in that content, in that situation. So I'll share this one because I love this one as well.
Who needs 1 degree when you can have 30?
That's so silly. So it's basically, I'll play it again. Putting myself in-
Who needs 1 degree when you can have 30?
So this one is mentioned like I should have been studying, right? Instead of studying for my exams and writing for my thesis. So it's actually playing with an insight that they know their audience. Most people like book their flights, even though they have other things to do and they should be doing something else. But yeah, they use that to create a very silly and funny that looks very innocent, but they know that what they're doing. So another example that I would like to bring that is different from all the others, because when we think about social, it's easy to think about the funny brands, the quirky ones, very witty, but there are also other tone of voices that not all brands have to share the same tone of voice and be like the funny, the clown of the internet. So, and here we have Nike, which is very purpose-driven storytelling, using athlete influencers and short-form social content. So Nike doesn't advertise. They empower creators just to tell stories. So these figures are just faces of the brand. They're really the co-authors of Nike's narrative. So we can see, I don't know if you remember the Serena's Dream Crazier campaign, really tapped into emotion, identity, cultural tension, and it was all through her lens. You can see that the aesthetic is a little bit more polished, right? So they have like more produced visuals, but it works for them. It works for their audience. But they bring the storytelling, the experience. It's not about showing the running shoes or the apparel. They're really telling the story, and the brand is there. It's part, but it's not the main character. It's part of the story. So if you think about it, why this shift? We have a lot of ad fatigue. People are bombarded with content that feels inauthentic. Algorithm discovery, platforms like TikTok elevate individual voices. We have culture shifts because in an age of misinformation, consumers really value honest and unfiltered storytelling.
Come with me for my
So with that being said, crafting content that cuts through, it's a challenge, right? It's not that it's easier said than done. It requires research, analytics, and try to understand your consumers, how they behave on social. So here I created a cheat sheet for you guys, so you can kind of just take this into consideration whenever you're building your strategy, your content strategy. So if you're going to co-create Choose creators who genuinely align with your mission or aesthetic. Let creators speak in their own voice. Don't sanitize the message. What happens a lot is we can see brands that will work with a specific creator that they reach out because they love the creator, they love what they do, but when they hire that person, they kind of start sanitizing and making the message too corporate. So you lose the point. Like what's the point? It's better to create a branded asset instead than using a creator if you're doing that. So what we do and what I try to do with my brands is always letting them having the creative freedom then they need to provide us with a concept, an idea. And of course, with that, we'll go over through all the approval processes that we need to go through and respecting all the guidelines. But the creative idea should come from them. They know their audience. They know their audience better than we do. And they know what works. They know the patterns. They know what resonates with the audience that follow them. So yeah, that's just a very important thing because I see that a lot. Invest in long-term creator partnership. Just don't partner with them one time if possible. If you want to work with somebody again in the future, you had a good relationship, you had good results, bring them back, keep working with them because you're showing to their audience that this is real, this is actually authentic. They actually like your product. So the trust is going to increase. So think about thumb-stopping visuals. Use pattern disruption, odd angles, bold color, close-ups, or facial expressions, quick motion, text overlays. This is all gonna matter more than polished design. And if you're gonna see at the end of the day, if you're gonna analyze your content, you're gonna notice that the most spontaneous ones are gonna perform better. Loop to storytelling. So you can start with curiosity or conflict. Something like, wait until you see what happened. I was not expecting this. It has to, you need a hook at the beginning, the first 30 seconds of your video. Otherwise, they'll just skip. And the hook can be vocal, can be a voiceover, can be visual, can be movement as well. So you need to make sure that this is something that encourages replay and shares. Other thing that is very important to consider including in your strategy is UGC, user-generated content, and co-creation. Feature the real friend, the fans, the reviews, the unboxings. Involve your audience, make them part, make them feel seen, and bring them to your content strategy as well. So when you reshare, don't be super concerned that your brand has to come first, your logo has to be big. No, they'll know it's your brand. If your brand is there, part of that experience, they'll link that, they'll make the connection. Lead with a hook. So humor, shock, joy, tension, whatever works with your brand and the personality that you built, just try it. It's a learning experience. CTA comes subtle. It's not the headline, and viewers act when they feel, not when they're told. So with that also, I want to just kind of, how do we get the insights actually, right? Because we're talking about the creation of the content, what is important for the content, but how do we get to that part? So we're talking about data-driven creativity. For creative people, it can be kind of hard and painful to talk about data-driven strategies, but it's part of what we do as well. So use the social listening tools. Like there are so many social listening tools in the market. You can choose yours. So content performance metrics to track, reach, saves, shares, watch time, brand lift. A/B testing creative formats, try all the formats that you can, video, carousel, still images, and try different CTA styles as well so you can see what works. So with that, an action you can take after this webinar, and you can write it down, you can kind of do that later, is to audit your top 10 posts this quarter, the top 10 posts for your brand. What do they say about your brand? What is performing well? And can you notice a pattern? Can you identify what's happening there? And that's the first thing that we do whenever we're building a strategy, just do the audit. And after that, you can kind of identify the patterns and kind of follow a strategy or see what needs to be changed. So I love that part because I'm all about making data emotional. And that means I even put like a smiley face to kind of add the emotion. Emotion really moves people, but when you take data and wrap it in story, context, or feeling, that's when it becomes powerful. So we all remember the Spotify Wrapped, right? At the end of the year, we all kind of start sharing on social media the top artists, the top songs that we listen to. This is pure data. So what is the difference? They made data personal, relatable, shareable, and emotional. It could be just like more data, but no, they thought like, no, let's turn this actually into content, right? So here's what I mean. A pie chart doesn't go viral, but a Spotify Wrapped that says you listen to Beyonce like 9,000 times get posted, that gets viral and shared. So take your audience behavior, feedback, or preferences and turn that into stories they feel connected to. All right, so I think that we're almost at the end. So the key takeaways that I want you to take with you here is the authenticity is your competitive advantage. So be real, be human, be relatable. And creators are the bridge between brands and culture. So see them as your partners. Partner with them, not just for influence, but for insight, for trust, and relevance. Cut-through content starts with emotion, not promotion. As marketers, we tend to put the product first all the time, but is this bringing real value? Or is the story that you tell, is the experiences that you share, and making your brand a little bit more human, humanizing your brand? Watch out for your brand behavior. Show up with personality, consistency, and participation. You don't need to be perfect there. Make data emotional, turn insights into narratives your audience can see. Connection comes from collaboration. So bring your community into the process. That means fans that share things about your brand, remixing trends, or featuring fan stories. All right. So there is a very interesting insights tip that I wanted to share with you. I don't know if you know that already, but if you work with social, if your brand is on social, it should be. There is a TikTok Creative Center. I'll click here so you can see. Can you see this one?
No, I believe you're sharing just the presentation.
Oh, no.
Or maybe we can drop the link in the chat.
I can drop the link in the chat.
Yes.
So the TikTok Creative Center is it's a resources center for social media. So you can see top ads they are performing the platforms, keywords insights, creative insights. They even have their own AI that helps you with creative ideas, scripts, insights, reports. So if you want to look for examples of top ads, you can search there. If you're wondering what's trending on TikTok, it's going to show you there. If you're seeking more for creative guidance, it's going to show there as well. So it's a very interesting platform. And then just feel free to kind of play around, look, and see all the insights that they have there. It's really helpful when you're brainstorming your content strategy as well.
And we put the link in the chat and on the screen as well. But if you Google it, it should pop up among the first results.
All right, so I think that's a wrap. That's it for today. Thank you. I know that now it's time for Q&A. So let's connect on LinkedIn. If we don't have each other already, please feel free to add me there, and then we can also continue the conversation. Or if you have questions another day, more than happy to connect with you.
Let's keep this for 20 more seconds so people have time to scan the QR code. And obviously, I'll take this opportunity to remind everyone to please go to HowAboutSomeMarketing.com, go to the newsletter section and sign up for the newsletter. We're going to be sending today's recording and links, and hopefully you'll be sharing the presentation as well, if you're okay with that, with our participants.
Yes.
And with that, I think everybody has had an opportunity to connect. Now, before the question and answer, I do want to take an opportunity to come back to all the questions addressed and comments addressed during the presentation. Now, you made a mention revealing your age. Now, I should reveal my age because I remember a time when there was like no social media. So it's actually beyond brands being present on social. There were no social media at all. And I'm not sure.
I'm from the same time. I didn't grow up with social media.
Excellent. Excellent. So I'm going to take a moment and put in on the screen Brian's comment. He's also a friend of HowAboutSomeMarketing. Old Navy, new moves. Lindsay Lohan Summer 25 campaign.
I just saw that one. It's amazing.
Any comments? I haven't seen it, so I'll let you maybe take a couple of seconds.
Yes.
To-
So I saw that campaign, I think yesterday. It's really, really like you can see Lindsay Lohan's face right away. So it's like linking her to the brand is a very bold move. She's launching Freaky Friday 2 soon. She's kind of came back to kind of to social to I don't know like to like she was like she disappeared for a while and now she's back. So she's very popular again. Okay, I'm just reading the other
going
question.
to drop the link in the chat sometimes. Again, amazing
Yeah,
presentation.
I don't have the link, but I would love to see it again. It actually just popped up in my feed as I was scrolling.
I think this is it. I hope I dropped the correct link. Amazing presentation by Rebecca. Brian, follow-up comment, a campaign that cuts through, referring to the Old Navy campaign. Amazing. Excellent job on this topic. And excellent presentation.
Sabrina has a question.
Lara, great, excellent presentation. Yeah, okay. I'll let Sabrina actually put everything.
Okay, so one question I have, when should brands use creator marketing? When they want to drive brand recognition, volume of sales, both? A previous guest on the show mentioned that brands should be careful with expecting lots of conversions with influencer marketing because the influencer's audience is there for the influencer, not necessarily for the brand. I agree. It's not necessarily like bottom of the funnel. I would say it's more for awareness. If you're launching something new, if you want to bring awareness for a certain thing, bringing the influencer campaigns because they're going to help build that trust that eventually will result in sales, but maybe not right away. It's a long-term game.
Excellent question. Excellent answer.
What are your thoughts on athletes and sponsored by products, events sponsored by brands? Is it worth it if it's just stickers, clothing, and banners? I mean, there's a difference between an experience and only occupying a space and being in that space. What is the experience that they're actually providing, right? I think it's case by case in this situation. Are they providing an experience with the athletes? I'm sure, like for example, Nike, they sponsor so many athletes that they wear the uniform, the logo. But yes, it gives them visibility, especially during like key moments like Olympics, stuff like that. So yeah, it keeps them visible. You associate Nike with athletes, so it keeps your association. But if you're talking about more events like activations for local people or local things, I would actually prefer like to focus more like tangible experiences for the fans and the consumers.
Excellent question, excellent answer. And you know how the fighter, and speaking of sports clothing and athlete brands, there's actually incentives and there's friction between Nike and Adidas or Puma or any other, especially in European and World Cup football, right? And you know they're investing a lot, and you know they're fighting each other, and there's more value whenever a brand gets an athlete that was with their competitors before. Are there any more questions? I really love that. Again, Rebecca. And there's one more. I'll let Sabrina put it on screen. But do you think generally, culturally, video is moving towards lo-fi?
The lo-fi aesthetics or brain rot? I think this can be a way of it's a very popular way of creating the videos, of course, and I would say that is very part of the new generation, the Gen Z. It's very I don't think if I can't say yet if we're totally shifting, but the way we behave on social is that way. We're more like lo-fi aesthetics. But that can change with the next generation. Who knows? I can say if this is going to be like a cultural change and shift. because social changes every week. There's always something new. So it's never there's never a dull moment on social media. I think it's always changing, and whoever works with that has to kind of keep up with the momentum and keep going. But definitely right now the landscape is like the lo-fi aesthetics, the brain rot, a little bit of chaos, and witty and sarcastic humor. The brands who can perform that way are doing really well.
Another one. Great question, Sabrina. Curious, across all demographics, do you see older generations also like being spoken to honestly as well? Have you worked on any campaigns targeted towards non-Gen Zers in Alpha?
I've worked in campaigns more for alpha boomers with the specific brands that have an older demographics, and it is totally different. It's kind of it's way more polished because it's a different generation. If they see an ad that is like looks like a TikTok, they're not going to trust. That's going to be the complete opposite actually. So yes, it's very different. It's not the same strategy at all. Like the tone has to be different, and it will be according to the brand, because if the brand has that audience, I suppose the brand also will use the same tone and kind of aesthetics that it's required for the demographics.
Excellent question, excellent answer. Have covered this already, but I do have a question. You mentioned influencers. Where do you find them?
Okay, yeah. So there are some software and platforms that you can you have platforms to manage social media, right? So there are platforms as well to manage influencer campaigns, but not necessarily you need to use them. It's way easier. You can find them easier. You can just search for any influencer you want through those platforms. But if you don't, for example, if your team doesn't have the budget, if that's not in your budget, you can just search. You go on social media and then you're gonna try to search manually for those people, look for hashtags or maybe similar profiles or similar people that you already know, and you want somebody with a kind of similar audience and similar content strategy. So you're gonna go there and just manually search for them. There's always that. But I would say having the platform, it's a game changer, because for the workflow, it's just so much faster for you to you can filter, select by topic, where is the country the person is from, or especially when we're working in Canada, most of the influencers we see and follow are from the States, right? So if you want to be very specific, sometimes it can be hard to find our influencers from here, and the platforms really help us kind of filter by age, demographics, and cities, whatever you can imagine, you can filter, and then you're gonna see that list of all the influencers. So there are some, what is the name of the one I used previously? I forgot. I think it's Meltwater. Meltwater is a pretty popular one that you can kind of manage the whole influencer campaign. But yeah, so there is this one would be great if the team has the budget to kind of have this. That would be amazing.
A platform also kind of like validates the influencer.
Yes.
We all heard stories, and feel free to share if you have any examples of a high brand reaching out to the wrong influencers that had a history of the wrong comments and all the other stuff. Feel free to share.
The platforms don't exactly pick if they commented something. That would be like a manual thing. And then whenever I'm working with an influencer, I will scroll like forever to see if I find something that is controversial that we don't align with. And then kind of course, I share with a corporate team as well to see like, is there something that you're concerned? Nope, we're good. We're all good. It's okay. So we can consider this person. So that's what we call vetting the person first in the process before even reaching out or just asking if they're interested in working with us. So I see here somebody's asking, what platforms do you like best for keeping track of the work post schedule? This is for, I imagine this is more for social content, right? Scheduling. So I've used so many. I've used Sprout. I'm using Sprinkler now. I think Sprout would be my favorite. Yeah, for from the ones I used, that would be my favorite. It's very user friendly and nice reports. It's very easy to pull out the reports. So it was a good time, but we changed.
On the topic of the influencers, I'm going to share some thing from my personal experience. Don't be afraid to reach out to micro influencers as well. I used to work with for lawyers, marketing for lawyers specifically for a couple of years, and obviously they're targeted specific regions, very niche, very restricted geographically, right? Lawyer in Markham or whatever the UI. So you'll be surprised how much business you can get, even as a plumber, even from a business owner's perspective. If you reach out to a local influencer within your region, and there's plenty of them as well, that doesn't need to have like a massive following, 500 people in a relevant location. Markham is a region in Toronto. Many people are joining from the US. So let's say, give an example, New Jersey, or even something smaller like not such a big region, right? Reaching to somebody, micro influencers that's active, that's engaged in the community, can do wonders for them. And with a budget of $500 or $1,000 Canadian or US and up, you can actually achieve a lot of things. So don't be afraid to reach out and consider influencers in your activity, even if you're a smaller business or an entrepreneur or simply a consultant.
Yes,
be free to reach out.
that's true. That's very true. Like we've done before with micro influencers, the one who has like not even 10K, they like have maybe 3,000 followers or 5,000 followers. They're very small, but they have a very loyal fan base, and the ones who follow them really follow what they do. So sometimes it's better to work with many micro influencers than paying just one, a big one, and it's gonna amplify more your message.
As an artist, you need only 1,100 true fans, or 1,000, I think it was 100, and it's probably similar to businesses as well. Do we have any more questions for Emily before we wrap up? We're actually close to the hour. It's amazing. I hope everybody took notes. I know for sure I did. Digital writing on my computer and on paper as well, and I'll try to apply as much of the things that Emily shared with us. After this call, I'll probably go and buy one of those chocolate bars that you showed.
Yes,
because
please.
I'll do that. We have a thank you, Brian. Thank you, Emanuel. Thank you, Brian,
Thank you,
for
Brian.
joining us. Enjoyed our presentation. I hope everybody had a great experience. We have one more question before we wrap up. Thoughts on brands spending dollars on buying views?
Yeah, that would be like
Excellent.
the boosted, kind of boosting the content, right? So yes, so totally in favor, actually. So if you can amplify your message, that's great. So if you can make your brand more seen, when we talk about content strategy, we're talking about paid and organic. It's not either organic or paid. It's just both, right? We have to consider both because they have to walk together in order for you to achieve the growth. So with the paid, if you amplify your message, if you boost your content, you're going to reach a wider audience that maybe don't know your brand or didn't consider your brand. But what's going to make them stay is the organic posts that you kind of going to connect with them daily. So those are different goals. I would say the paid one is more either for conversion already or a wide awareness, and the organic one is really for keeping them and building that community and trust.
And from experience, again, I work mostly with small to medium size and growing businesses. So boosting can actually help reach their current following, because the organic reach is quite low on Meta and LinkedIn as well. So boosting will actually get that. I believe there are no more questions. First, one more time, if people want to connect with you, I believe LinkedIn is the best place, correct?
Yes,
Emily
correct.
Gama, she shared the QR code. We'll be sharing the link in a following email, as well as the recording. People can jump on LinkedIn and message you there if they have any additional questions or tips. I can only say one more time. Oh, Sabina has put it. in the chat. Thank you so much again for accepting to come tonight and sharing all these insights and information that I believe everybody can take and apply in their either for their business or for the company that they work for. If you are not yet, I'll take this last opportunity to remind you to go to howaboutsmarketing.com and subscribe to the newsletter. That's how you stay in the loop with whatever webinars we're putting on. And we have a live webinar every last Thursday of each month. This is set in stone moving forward, and we'll have more updates as we go. And this year is going to be a good year for How About Marketing. We're growing a lot. Our team is growing. Our viewership is growing. Our subscribers are growing, and we're becoming that community that we eager to be part of. The reason I started How About Marketing is because I myself, as a professional, I was either one teaching other business owners and educating them because they were paying for a service but didn't really understand what they were paying for, but also I had my own needs as a professional. Where should I get my information? Where can I ask my peers, who have gone through this, and not go to the frustration of experiencing some things myself? And that's the reason why How About Some Marketing came to being. That being said, we're at the hour. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Emily. HowAboutSomeMarketing.com, and we have a really, really special guest next month, June 26th, I believe. So make sure that you're subscribed so you'll get that information. That being said, thank you so much. Ending the stream right now.